Around 3 to 4 million books are published annually, with about 2 to 3 million of those books being self published. And traditional publishing books are released every year as well, with around 500,000 to 1 million books. Yet there are still millions and millions of people who sit every year and say, this year, I'm going to publish my book. Well, I'm going to help you get that off of your mind and into the hands of authors. If you don't know who I am, my name is Dr. Nina Addison, and I am the You Can specialist, and you are here for the You Can show. This is episode 29, and I thought, why not give you a gift? Sometimes people just need gifts, right? One. And this is a very special week. We know this is a week of Christmas, whether you celebrate it or not. And I love giving gifts. I love receiving gifts as well, but I love to give gifts. And so my gift to you this week is a gift of a publishing class via the You Can Show. The You Can Show is your weekly dose of faith, focus, and fire to help you believe bigger, live bolder, and do what God has called you to do. Because He's called you to do some amazing things. And if one of those things is publishing a book, whether you've done it already or not, this is the show for you. So go ahead and share this out to your fans, friends, family, followers, or if you call some for enemies, whatever the case may be. We want to share this out to everyone because sharing is caring. Now, when I write a book, I always sit and say, write the vision and make it plain. I go to the word of God. And it's usually the vision, of course, it's supposed to be the vision that God gives you. You want to write that vision. You want to make that vision plain. You want to write that vision upon tablets and be mindful of what that vision is. And that's the vision that you want to put out to the world. And if he's giving you a vision, that's Habakkuk 2 and 2, just to be sure that everyone know. Um, you want to make sure that you write that vision. You want to make sure that that vision is plain and you want to make sure that vision goes out to the world. And so let's go ahead and talk about it. I'm going to give you tips, tricks. I'm going to give you all the things you need to stop being afraid of publishing a book. A lot of people say, well, Nina, I don't know what to do. When my clients come to me, they're usually saying, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to get started. Or some people say, well, I've written a book, but what do I do next? And so hopefully by the end of this show, you would know what to do if you are still in the idea phase and what to do next if you have written a book and you're ready to put it on the shelves and in the hands of millions. Now, I'm going to start off by saying this. I got to give a shout out to my mama. Today is December 22nd when this is airing. And guess what it is, y'all? It's my mama's birthday. It's her birthday. So I'm giving you all a gift, but I'm giving it on my mama's birthday. And it's December 22nd, 2025 when this is released. Okay, so happy birthday, Audrey Pendleton. Happy birthday, mama. Happy birthday. All right, let me get to this show. Let me get to this wonderful show. Okay, so the first thing, we're going to first talk to people who has never written a book before, has an idea, or even is saying, man, I will write a book. I have so many ideas, but I don't know where to start. Let's start with you. For the one who has an idea and have tons of ideas, but don't know where to start. You can and will get all of those millions of books that's on your head onto paper and into the hands of millions. But absolutely, you have to choose one to start with. And if you're like, well, which one? Which one is pertinent in your life right now? Which one can you say, I need to get this one out right now? And even if you don't know, pick one. Pick one, because this is going to be the start of something great. Pick the one that you think is the easiest, or the one that you feel like is going to make a huge impact. And I hear you saying, well, all of them is going to make a huge impact. And I believe that with you. But pick one. Start with one, even if you end up switching. Start with one. And for those of you who say, I don't know where to start, what are you good at? What do you know about? What is something that is you're passionate about? What is something that you want to leave a legacy for? See, that's one thing that I push people to write books for, because you are leaving a legacy for future generations. Do not take that part of your legacy to the grave. I believe everybody has a book within them, at least one, even if it's you writing and being in a collaboration of multiple authors. You have a book in you, and it's time to get that book out. Okay, there are collaboration opportunities available. There's so many different things that you can do to get that book off of your mind, get that portion off of your mind and into the hands of others. Now, usually annually, I produce book collaborations, and I am working on a few. Stay tuned. I will not announce one during this show. This is not for that. But that is an easy way for people to become published authors. I was going to say authors, and I said to become published authors, because they only have to write so many words. Typically, it's about 2 to 3 pages, 4 if the book is going to be really big, and that gives you less stress of writing a full book. But what I always tell people, and what I encourage even when people publish their part of their story in my book, is okay, this is a part of your story. Now take this story and go and write your full book. And I don't gatekeep with their story being in my book. Take this and let this be a catapult and catapult you to writing a full book. I have so many authors who have done that, and even some of my youth authors who have done that. And just so y'all know how I'm qualified to do this, I have been publishing books since 2015. My first book came out in 2013 with the company, and then I published another one in 2014 with the company. And then in 2015, I said it was time for me to learn how to do it on my own. And since then, I've helped over 100 people become published authors, best-selling authors. I produced 10 anthologies, numbers 11 and 12, maybe coming in 2025. But I'm really excited to help even more people publish books. So the second thing I'm going to say is, if you are someone who is like, okay, I have the idea and I have that one idea that I want to start with, but I don't know what to do. Right. This is my tip to everybody. Write. People don't know where to go, how to start, how to do this. Write in your own way. Some people need an outline, okay? And there are a lot of published writers. There are a lot of writing coaches. I am a writing coach that will tell you to write in a certain way, but I'm the type of writing coach that tell you to write in your own way. Now, let me explain what that means. Because there are different styles of writing, you may be a person that need an outline. If you need an outline, write an outline. Do a complete outline of step by step. If that takes the stress off of you, that's what you do. If going ahead and just writing all your ideas down from finish to end, from beginning to end is you, that's what you do. If you're a person that has to write, I sit at my computer, this is how I write. And I publish of my own book, and I have more coming out. I publish tons of books. And the way I do my books is I sit at the computer and I write what God gives me. It may not be in order. I may not write chapter 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I may write chapter 1 today, chapter 5 tomorrow, chapter 6 tomorrow. I may not even have a title when I start writing, and that is okay. Do not get caught up in, I don't know what I want to title it and things like that. I'm a true, firm believer that by the time you're done with this book, you can do one of two things. You're going to either have your title yourself, or you can sit down with a writing coach. Maybe I do strategy sessions, all different types of things. You can find someone, and I help people come up with titles of their books as well. So you don't have to have the title in the beginning. Once you write your book, oftentimes, and you read it, sometimes titles even change. The most important part is writing the book, getting all that's in you out. Okay. Sometimes people start writing books, and then by the time they're done writing, they're like, wow, this is more than one book. I need to break this up into 2 books. Can you imagine starting one book, and then at the end of the writing phase, you notice that you have 2 books? 2 books? Are you serious? Yes. Yes. That is possible for you. And even if you are finished writing and it's still one book, you have that book done. So you got to write. You got to write. You got to sit down every day, 10 minutes a day, take the writing pain away. A lot of times people think, well, I don't have time. You got 10 minutes a day. Stop scrolling on Facebook, on any social media, YouTube, even YouTube, whatever. Take a pause for 10 minutes a day. Step away from something that you normally do. And you look like, oh, I could have did this with my time, or I could have did that with my time. Well, guess what? You can spend 10 minutes a day, even if it means going to bed 10 minutes later or getting up 10 minutes earlier, having your time in the morning and then sitting just to write. Now, I always tell people, a lot of people say, well, I like to write, and I'm a handwriting person. Listen, I love to handwrite things too. However, when you are publishing a book, you have to have your stuff typed. Even if you don't have a computer, do y'all know how many books I have published just by typing a book in my phone and emailing it to myself? Okay, I am in the process of writing a book right now that I haven't told many people about. And when God gives me something, usually I'm in the dang on bed. And I grab my phone and I type that chapter in my phone and I send it as an email to myself. And then when I get on my computer the next day or whenever, I take that chapter and I copy it and I put it in my Word doc for that particular book. Then when I'm done and God says we're finished, then I will go back and organize each chapter to make sure they're where they're supposed to be and they tell a story that flows. Okay, so you don't have to have every single thing in order if you're not that type of person. But if you're a person that needs an outline, you need to have, okay, these are what the chapters are going to be about to keep you on track. Absolutely do that. Do that, do that, do that. Once you know that you're going to publish a book, this is one thing that I do with all of my clients that I believe really helps them get the job done. Set a release date. Set a release date. So for me, I'm already telling myself my next book is going to come out March 2026. So that's giving me a total of 3 months to finish writing and going through my publishing process. Now, I will share with people, sometimes I do books overnight. I have different types of books out. Once you do a paperback book, you will feel like you could do any type of book, in my opinion. Ebooks are pretty easy once you have that book typed. You can make it an ebook and a paperback book or a hardback book, your preference. Okay. Remember, it's up to you, it's your preference. Nobody can tell you, oh, do this or do that. I will share that, and I'll be giving all types of tips. So I hope y'all have pen and paper. And if you are watching this live on ICU Radio, make sure you go back to YouTube with your pen and paper so you can pause it, because I am one of those people. I kind of jump different places, but I don't want to forget to give you tips as I say certain things. What is the difference, for example, right here, because I don't even have this on my notes to tell y'all today. What is the difference between a hardback book and a paperback book? A hardback book, of course, we know it's hardback. However, also, it's going to cost more to publish a hardback book versus a paperback book. Okay, those hardback books cost more because it costs more to make. It costs more to print. The coloring costs more. All of the things. It also costs more to produce a full colored book than it does a black and white book. That's why you see a lot of books come out and the pictures or the images are black and white opposed to color. Now, when I did my anthologies this last year in 2025, I did a youth one and an adult one. Y'all, I struggled the most doing these two anthologies. I'm like, Lord, what is going on? But in these anthologies, I made sure that the pictures were in color on the inside of the book of the authors. And so because those pictures were in color, it will cost maybe a printing a book may cost about $4. It may cost $6 or $7. So it depends on the thickness of the book and all of those different things. But again, printing it varies. And you can go to Amazon, you could go to all these different places and find out how much potentially would you be paying to print a book. Now, they may give you that price. So say you're paying about $4 to print a book. Then you have to incorporate shipping as well. Okay. And so typically I like to ship books in bulk. That's called print on demand. Amazon is print on demand. Ingram Sparks is print on demand. And those are the two that I'm going to talk about most today. Now, sometimes people are like, I published this book. I just got hired to do this. I need books quick, fast, and I need them, a lot of them at one time. Go to 48-hour books, right? And you can order your books on Monday and typically have them by Friday. If you make sure you have your full manuscript, book cover, and everything else, and you get them their money and everything else on that Monday, it's going to cost more to print. Okay, but the quality is going to be top notch. And no, they are not paying me for this. Okay, they're not paying me to tell you this, but I'm telling you this because I care and because I know and because it's worked for me and many of my clients. Okay, so a lot of people do it if they're behind a little bit on the publishing process and they want to get it out, they want to have their book launch and they want to have that together. They will go to 48-hour books and they'll put in the information. It'll tell you how much it's going to cost to get the books and everything else. Ingram Sparks is not that bad either. If you decide you again will pay more, you may be paying like same thing for something to print per book, right? But if you want them to print and ship your books within about 24 to 48 hours, you have to pay maybe like $6 or $7 a book on Ingram Sparks. Okay. Now, let's get into some really, really good tips because I want to make sure that you all leave this episode and get started with your book or get started with the publishing process. If you have not started writing, all you have to do is start writing. Write what's on your mind. Write what it is that you want to put in the book. Write a chapter. Whichever works for you, write. Write, write, write. Write until you can't write no more. Okay? Get something on paper and stop judging yourself. People judge themselves and say, ain't nobody going to read my book. Or they judge themselves and say, I don't know what if this makes sense. That's why we have writing coaches. That's why we have workshops. That's why we have all these different things. Listen, get out of your own head and get them words on the paper. If you are a coach, you should have a book. If you are a publisher, you should have a book. A publisher, well, publishers typically do have books. If you are a chef, you should have a book. Whatever it is that you do in life, you should have a book. You should have a book. You should have a book. If you are a social media influencer, get my words right, right? If you are a social media influencer, you should have a book. You should have a book. If you are a mother, you should have a book. If you are a father, you should have a book. If you are a teacher, you should have a book. Everybody knows something and everybody should share what they know. And don't feel like, well, there's a million books out here that talks about this particular subject, but nobody tells it how you tell it. And there's an audience for you. Well, nobody's going to buy my book. Yes, they will. I have so many people that was afraid that people wouldn't buy their books. And they had perfect strangers buying their books. Stop expecting certain people to buy your book. The people I expected to buy my books didn't buy my books, but the people I didn't expect to buy my books did. I got many speaking engagements from strangers buying my books. Okay? So don't think that people won't support you and won't buy your book. You're going to have to talk about your book, or you can have someone else talk about your book. There's so many different things, but we're not even there yet. That's not what this show is about. All I want you to do is write the book. And so after you write the book, after you have started writing a book, let me give you some tips on what to do and what you need to see in this beautiful, 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 beautiful book. I want you to have a strong introduction. For example, if you are writing a book and your book is about, I want to take something that's a little bit different. Let's say you're writing a cookbook, okay? And most cookbooks are different. They might not have like the traditional, you know, introduction with the body of the different chapters out of the body. We all learned how to do this stuff in school, right? And then your conclusion is like wrapping it up and all the different things. However, you want to still draw people in. So for someone who's writing like an instructional book, a how-to book, or something like that, if you're not doing a traditional introduction, the back of your book is going to need to be strong. You want to catch the eye of your audience. You want to catch the eye of people of who it is you're trying to reach. So when you're doing a introduction, you want to make people see what it is you're saying. So if you're doing a cookbook, like I said, you may start off with saying, I was in my kitchen one day and I realized that I needed to eat and no one was going to feed me unless I fed myself. So I went in the refrigerator and I looked at all the ingredients I had. On this day, I had whatever ingredients, and I pulled them out. I looked at them and I said, okay, what can I make from this? So then I decided to put together the butter with the sugar and I mixed it up. And, just putting it together, just paint an image is what I'm trying to explain to you. Paint an image. Now, if you are someone and you're saying, hey, I'm going to do a traditional book where I'm telling my life story, what part of your life that you're writing about in that book is going to make people get nosy? Because let's just keep it real. Folks is nosy out here, okay? Folks is nosy and folks want to get into the business. So when you are thinking about writing a book, you are writing for your audience, okay? You're writing for yourself. It's going to be healing to you, but mainly you are writing for an audience. You have a group of people that will be reading your book, and that's who you have in mind. So if you were picking up a book, what would get your attention when you open up to that introduction? Because most people, they grab a book if they've never heard of the author, or even if they have, they're going to read the back of the book. They're going to look at the book cover. They want to see that it matches what's in the book, and we'll talk about that. They want to see that the introduction. They want to look at the table of content, making sure that the title chapters are strong and that they matter, and that they grab the attention of your audience as well. And then they're going to probably read a little bit of your introduction. And so that paragraph, that first paragraph, you want to make people say, I'm not going to put this book down. How do you do that? You paint a picture. So if you are talking about your life story, and if you're telling something that's near and dear to your heart, think of one of the chapters that is going to make people say, whew, you went through that. So you may start it off as May 16th, 1998. Now, those of you who are young, don't be talking about some 1998. Listen, I'm an 80s baby, okay? I'm an 80s baby. Don't talk about us. But you may grab it and say, okay, May 18th, 1998. All I heard, nope, let me start that over because I got distracted trying to tell you all that. You may say, boom. Yeah, that's the first word in the introduction, y'all. Boom. That's all I heard. I didn't know what was going on. It was 3 a.m. in the morning, and I was waking out of my sleep from a big boom. I jumped up. I first ran into my kids' room to make sure they were okay. And then I ran to the front door and I looked out the window, and a car had ran into my car. All I saw was people getting out of the car and running away. I ran to grab my phone, and I immediately dialed 911 because I didn't know what else to do. I didn't want to run outside because I didn't know if these people had any weapons on them or anything else. All I knew is that it looked like my car was totaled. That first paragraph is going to make people say, oh my goodness. Okay, what happened? What happened? And let me go back. And you may end that sentence with, this was the start of something. This was the start of a journey that I was not expecting. This began one after another, after another, after another of things happening in my life that I least expected. So I'm trying to do it off the top of my head, y'all. So bear with me. I'm doing it off the top of my head. But grab the attention of your audience is the main idea of that point. Grab the attention of your audience. You want your audience to say, I want to read more. Oh, I can relate to you. Oh my goodness. I wonder what else happened. So do you want to pull the audience into your world? Pull them into your world, because once you pull them into your world, then you have them what's called hooked. Because that's what the people that we follow on social media, the people that with the books that we read, they got our attention. They're telling our story. We can relate to them. Oh my goodness, I can relate. So you want to do the same thing for your audience. Okay? All right. So the next thing we're going to do, oh my goodness, time always flies so fast, but we still got about 10 minutes. So we're going to go strong. We're going to go strong in this time period. So strong introduction. Paint a picture. Your introduction does not have to be long. A lot of people ask me, well, Nina, how long do my book have to be? Do it have to be so many chapters? There are short books. There are long books. There are medium-sized books. I always tell people, when you're writing in a traditional 8.5 by 11 book size, so this book right here is an 8.5 by 11, right? That's the traditional size of a book. If you are writing in an 8.5 by 11 size, then you may write 20, 30 pages and say, okay, I'm done writing, but I feel like this is too short. Where if you're going to put the book in a 6 by 9 format or anything smaller, that 20, 30 pages that you've written is going to end up being maybe a 50 to 60 or more page book, because you're going to change the formatting, you're going to change the setting when you are actually going through the formatting phase. Okay. And so don't get weary in, hey, I don't think this book is long enough. Hey, I think I need more, more, more. Some people think they have to type 100 pages to publish a book, and no, you do not. That is not accurate. You do not have to have a really long book. And I always tell people, if it's your first book, put in that book only what needs to be in that book. Do not be one of them people that repeat and repeat and repeat and repeat and repeat the same thing over and over and over again. Okay? Because if you're constantly being repetitive, I'm gonna put your book down because I know what the next chapter gonna say. Okay? Write, finish, write, finish, write, finish. Go back and look at your writing. Sometimes people say, I got writer's block. I don't know where else to go. Go back and read what you've written already. Oftentimes, if you go back and you read what you've written already, you'll get some ideas sparked. Some things will spark in your mind. Oh, I forgot to include this. I forgot to include that. I need to put this. I need to put that. Okay, I need to talk about this next. Sometimes you're writing about something that's a little bit touchy, and you may need to step away for a minute. You may need to talk to somebody while you're writing. You may need to get into a writing safe space, a writer's circle. Y'all, I'm working on so many different things. I thought that God was going to take me completely away from publishing and different things, but he's showing me a different space to go into. And so I'm really excited because I will be having writing circles where we literally get on Zoom and we write. We get on Zoom and you get to ask questions in the midst of your writing. You get to write about those difficult subjects and you get an opportunity to just release. Okay, so I'm excited about those type of things. I won't be doing a whole lot of traditional publishing in 2026, but I will be helping people get the book done, because that's the main thing, getting the book done. I can give you tons of resources, tons of people who can actually publish the book for you. Yes, I can, but again, God has me in a different space and I got to flow with the Holy Ghost. Okay, Holy Spirit, we got to flow together. Okay, and so I have to make sure that I stay in line, but being in line is to help more people. My goal in 2026 is to get another 100 published authors, to help another 100 people write their books and get it published, whether they decide traditional publishing or to self-publish. You got to get it done this year. And I'm going to start my count on January 1st. Let's keep going. So we talked about writing your book, writing in your own way. We talked about starting with a strong introduction, painting a picture, making sure that people can see, thinking about your audience. You want to think about your audience. You want to think about the person that you're writing for, because you're going to write, right? And you're telling your story. Is a part of your healing, because if you're telling your story, it's going to be a part of your healing. Okay. But also you want to think about the next person. If you're telling a part of your story, then somebody else is more than likely going to be healed through your story. Somebody else is going to be saved through your story. Somebody else is going to be delivered through your story. Somebody else is going to know that they too can do it through your story, right? You may say, well, my book is about, for example, I have a free homeschooling manual of telling people how to start. Now, I could take that and make it into a full book, but I'm not, right? Because that's not something that God told me to do in this season. However, that type of thing, if you're like, well, I'm doing a how to, still share some of your stories. Because if it's something that you've done, you're sharing with people how they too can do it. So it still makes a huge difference. It's still a part of your story. Just to share that with you all, okay? And so, strong introduction. I'm a personal advocate for self-publishing. I do want to make sure I get this in this show. I want to make sure that I tell you because some people are like, well, I think I want to go the self-publishing route, or I think I want to go the traditional publishing route. Which way do I go? The difference between self-publishing and traditional publishing. Let's go. When you are self-publishing, you're pretty much doing everything yourself. However, there are people you can hire to do different things for you. You can hire an editor to do the editing. I know for me, I always tell people I took English with support in high school, okay? So I have an editor. I have groups of editors that I can call on to edit that book, baby. Okay. I have a graphic designer that I use, okay, to do the book cover and any imaging and things like that that I need. Yes, I do not try to do that stuff myself. So you can hire people to do those different aspects of your book. You can even hire somebody to do the formatting. You can even hire somebody to upload it to Amazon or to Ingram Sparks or to whatever platform you desire. You can have somebody for those things. Okay? But what it means is you're writing your book yourself. You're hiring the different people to do the different things or doing it yourself. I know a lot of people that use Canva, Chat GPT, in the different formats of the different ways, and you can't do that. I know a lot of people that say, Nina, I have 99 cents in my bank account. I need to get this book out there. How can I publish a book for 99 cents or less? Yes, you can. You can. A lot of times people use either Amazon or Ingram Spark. I always go to Google and I type in KDP's cover calculator because you can put all of your book information in there, and then it can tell you what the size of your book cover needs to be, and you can take that and you can put it in Canva or whatever you're doing, or even that's the best way to send it to your graphic designer as well. I got to give a shout out to 727 Solutions because that's who I use for all of my book covers and things like that, with the exception of that one because I was doing something really, really fast, and that is a product of a mixture of Canva and ChatGPT doing my book cover for me. And then you can send it to them. That helps them to know what size it is. That way you don't have to go back and forth a lot with making sure your sizing is correct. You're going to need a PDF and a JPEG cover copy of your book cover. You need the PDF because when you're uploading your book, for print, you need to upload a PDF copy of the full cover. Listen, people, stop trying to upload just a part of the cover. People say, well, this is my book cover. I'm like, where's the back of it? Okay. So when you get your full cover from your graphic designer, or even if you're doing it yourself, if you're doing it yourself and say you're using Canva or something, your front cover is going to be on your right side, your back cover is going to be on your left side, and your spine is going to be in the middle. If it's a really, really little book, you don't want to have any words or anything on that spine because most printing places is not going to print. If your book is small, they're not going to be able to print words on your spine. So if your book is less than 100 pages, most of the time they're not going to allow you to have words on your spine. Okay, so that's something else. And then you want to take that book and we have the cover. We're talking about the cover. We're talking about all of these different things. And then you want to take it and you can do whatever you want to do to the cover. So you're going to want an ISBN and barcode. Again, this is for the free 99 books, right? You can use Ingram Sparks or KDP's ISBN and barcode. They'll allow you to use it for free, okay? But I like to have my own royalties, not my own royalties, because all the royalties will belong to you. I like to have all my own stuff. I like to be the owner of all my own stuff. So I go to my favorite spot, which I call the book ISBN Social Security Office, which is Bonker, BOWKER, but the web address is myidentifiers.com. I go there and I get all of my ISBNs and barcodes from them because I want all rights to all my stuff, right? And so you go there. Yes, it costs, but if you don't want to go there, you can use Ingram Sparks or Amazon's ISBN and barcode. You can use theirs. Okay, this is for the people that say I got a book written, but I need it for free 99. Okay, you can go to Grammarly. They have a free version where you can make sure that the book sounds right. Sometimes, if you can't invest in the beginning, when you can invest in getting that book better, hire a graphic designer, hire you an editor. Okay, I always going to recommend 727 Solutions. And then I also use Vanessa. I can always get y'all that information. All you got to do is say, hey, Nina, I need that information. And I can get you the information. And look, my book, You Can Publish Master Manual, it has tons of resources in this book. Tons of how-tos and what to do. And because I'm so generous right now, so generous. I shouldn't be doing this, but it is on my website for a digital download for I believe $15. I may put it down to 10, but for $15 you're getting 102 pages of instruction of how to, of what to do. With those $15 you can be able to publish a book for free, right? Yeah, because I give it all to you. I give it all to you. But you all, we are running out of time, and I didn't get to half of the stuff that I wanted to say in this episode. So come back next week for a part two, where I'm going to talk about um we talked a little bit about the editing the cover. We talked about Amazon and Ingram Sparks formatting a little bit, but not enough. I wanted to give you all so much stuff. And it's kind of hard to do that in a little short time, but I want to make sure that you get what you deserve. So come on back and join me next week for part two, where we'll talk about publishing. And I do want to make an announcement. Tomorrow, December 23rd at 6 p.m. Go ahead and join me for the You Can Coach informational at 6 p.m. Go on to my website, my link tree, and it's linktr.ee/Nina Motivates. You want to go there and you want to register, because I am going to have an informational for anyone who wants to be a life coach. I'll have the informationals. For those who don't know, I have been certifying life coaches for about 3 or 4 years. I took a year off and I'm coming back. I have I have certified 2 dozen life coaches, and I am opening it up I have not done it since the beginning of 2024. So 2026, God has released me and allowing me to do a 4-week course where you will become a certified life breakthrough coach. So if you are interested in that information, go ahead to my link tree and register for the free informational. The classes will not begin immediately. They won't begin to the end of January, but come on into the informational, get the information, see if it's for you, and come on and become that life coach. So I am Dr. Nina Addison. I'm here trying to in here give y'all this free stuff, this free tea. But go ahead and publish that book, y'all. Start with writing. Come back next week and learn more about writing your book. I'm gonna be a little more flexible, a little more organized with what I tell you, because I love jumping all over the place, because I want you to get all of the information. And I have a short time to give you all of this information. So we're going to make sure you get all of the information that you need, all of the information that you want. And I want you to go forward. Set that release date. When are you going to publish this book? That's the first step, when you put it out there to yourself. And then go ahead and make an announcement to the world. I have a book coming out, and woo, 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 woo. Stay tuned for more information. That way, you hold yourself accountable, and others are going to hold you accountable too. Folks going to know what the book is about and Okay, well, go ahead and do that. I am Dr. Nina Addison, your You Can specialist. And today I'm telling you that you can publish a book. Absolutely. Thank you for watching the You Can Show, your weekly dose of faith, focus, and fire to help you believe bigger, live bolder, and do what God has called you to do. Because, honey, He's called you to do some things. And one of those things is to publish a book. And know that you can publish a book. If I can publish several books, so can you. I look forward to seeing you all next week. And until then, bye for now.